and welcome to This Album with me, William Han. It's the podcast where each episode a guest and I will deep dive an album of their choice. It could be any artist, any genre, any year. And we are gonna discuss the songs, the shows, we'll discuss the artwork, but what I really want to know is where my guest first heard the album and the emotional attachment they have to the record. Who knows, we might even have a bit of a laugh while doing it. Well, today, I am joined by the indie prince of North London, a man whom in 2006 and 2007, I saw perform on stage more times than I watched The Simpsons, and that is a lot. He's a man whose holy jeans, knitted flat caps and Hawaiian shirts made him a fashion icon in the mid-noughties, but since when was fashion a necessity? Nice. But more than anything else, today's guest is also a sharer of joy. He wrote songs so uplifting that they are imprinted on the hearts and souls of a generation of indie kids. But that was then. This is now. And with the band back together and hitting the road later in the year, it's only right I get him on the show. I can't really podcast, but Alfie, won't you podcast with me? From the Holloways, it's Alfie Jackson.
Hello, mate. Thanks for having me in.
What a pleasure. So nice and close to your mouth.
Keep it nice close. All right, here we go.
Hello, Alfie.
Hello, Bill.
How are you, man?
I'm good, mate. Very good. Happy to see you.
Nice to be seen. It feels like a long time, but it also feels like no time at all, doesn't it, Alfie?
Yeah, it's like that. When you think of everything that's happened in between, it's like, blimey, there's a lot happened since then. But yeah, when you think now and then, it's like, what just happened? You
still got your looks though, man.
Thanks, mate. And
still looking good.
Likewise.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
A bit more, formal than I'm used to, but...
Well, look, it breaks my heart to say this, but it's not 2006 anymore, is it?
Well, I don't know.
I think that only stopped being 2006 about 3 years ago. So we had a good run. Yeah. We had a good run.
Some nights it still is 2006. I'm planning on making tonight 2006 because there's a funny night called Age Against... I mean, it's kind of a hilariously but sort of tragic at the same time called Age Against the Machine. It's like such a self-recognition, isn't it? But
sure. Hits like a ton of bricks, that.
Yeah. But, I haven't had a dance for a while. So.
I was going to ask, are you a man that still likes going out and a bit of hedonism and escapism on the dance floor, Alfie? Well,
I live in Austria now, so I don't get to do it. I'm not in the city so much.
No good techno nights around there or anything, no?
I'm right in the countryside, mate.
So let's talk about that a bit then. You sort of Austrian life. What's brought you there?
My fiancée. I met her in London in, 2014, and we, sort of fell in love pretty quickly, and she was like, London's far too expensive after a year of paying rent. And she went back to Austria, and then I followed, and that was like October 2016. So
if there's a better reason to leave a country than love, Alfie, I've yet to hear it.
And it's a lovely country.
Sure. How are you getting on it there? You enjoying it?
I am, mate. I say it's it's such a healthy, beautiful, clean, well looked after country. Great people there. Taking up tennis of all things.
You're a tennisman.
I am now.
Bloody hell.
I was growing up, it was only football.
Sure.
That's all I thought it was going to be till I picked up the guitar. But yeah, her dad plays. My fiance's dad plays, and he got me into it. And it's a frustrating game. So
yeah, well, I find this because I've done a bit of tennis last year for a couple of weeks, me and the wife, and it's so frustrating because I know where the ball should go.
Yeah.
I know I can get it there, but it never fucking seems to go there.
Mate, and you watch the pros, and it looks so easy. You just swing your racket, and it goes where you want it to.
Knives through butter.
But it's getting there. Backhand is the one. That's a bugger.
You've been working on your backhand?
Yeah, it's good now. One-handed. It's not quite Stan Wawrinka levels, but it's...
I don't know who that is, but it sounds pretty fucking cool. So, Alfie, we've known each other for a long time, haven't we?
We have. I mean, 20 years?
Nearly. Do you remember when we first met?
I can't remember which gig it would have been.
I've got you right on the spot here. Would you like to know where my Holloways cherry was popped, Alfie?
Yeah, I would love to.
I think it would have been either late 05 or early 06. You were supporting Baby Shambles at Coco.
Uh-huh.
Remember this show?
I remember us playing with Larrick in Love at Coco. I mean, we played with Shambles a lot, so I'm not going to argue with you.
It happened. It was a night when Peter, I think he just got out of... He'd been nicked for some reason.
Sounds about right, yeah.
And but yeah, that was like a freedom gig of some sort, and he had like his court papers or something on him on stage. But you guys supported, and it was like a lightning bolt, like a breath of fresh air. And me and this might be a new record actually. Jack Han what's that, about 4 minutes. Me and Jack Han had a lovely time at that show and couldn't believe it. We thought, well, this is our band. And about 6 weeks later, you played a show, is it Free in Shoreditch?
Again?
Yeah. And I assumed you guys were like a massive established band, and you weren't. That was probably your biggest show of your lives at that point.
Probably.
We saw you a few weeks later, and there's about 20 people at this show. And I'm thinking, I was expecting to see like some massive rammed room. I think we just basically realised that night we had London's best kept secret in our back pockets. And as that sort of year progressed, the Holloways trajectory rocketed up, and those rooms had a lot more than 20 people in them going forward, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, they started filling up pretty quickly. I remember when we first headed out on the road with the van.
Shout out to Morris.
We played in Glasgow, and it was like 3 girls, man and his dog, and for some reason Clash magazine were there. Like Clash magazine were onto our scent and had come to review us. And there was no one there. We were like, we're going to get a great review. But we did 2 encores and like jumped into the crowd.
Owned it.
Yeah, we completely owned it. And we got an amazing review. And next time we went back, it was like completely rammed, 200 people.
Amazing. So how did that happen? How did you find your audience, do you reckon?
I don't know. We just found each other, and everything just made sense very, very quickly once we started doing stuff. And we just got out there, and like I said, there was hardly anyone there, and we did 2 encores and jumped into the crowd instead of like being, oh, there's no one here, feeling sorry for ourselves. We loved playing. If you could see 2 or 3 people with a smile on their face, and I'm like that to this day. If I can see 2 or 3 people are getting off on it, then
it's all worth it.
It's all worth it, mate.
I saw a thing on Instagram the other day, like Tyler the Creator saying like he's discovered artists before that have had like 200 views on YouTube, but he said you don't know who's watching you out those 200 people.
Exactly.
It turned out Tyler the Creator, was watching them and ended up signing this guy or something.
Right.
So like it sounds like you got the same mindset.
Yeah, very similar thing happened with Clash magazine. They gave us such a good review, and that had a massive knock-on effect. And so yeah, you've always got to give your all. I think going back to tennis, bizarrely, I think they say about Nadal. Nadal like chases down every lost ball, even in training, and it's that always giving your all to it. I think goes a long way.
Class. So we'll look back a little bit, Alfie, but there's obviously been a long time since the Holloways were, existing at all, really. So what's been happening in the intermediary parts of your life?
Well, I tried to get another band going, and I had some talented people, but again, what we were just talking about, giving your all to it. If you haven't got people who are fully focused and that's all they want to do, it's not going to work. And the Holloways' whole ethos was everyone was on the same page. I got Bryn on bass. I met Bryn at, it was an all-bar one. It's now Superdrug in Crouch End, bizarrely. And we just got chatting at the bar, and I was like,
You don't strike me as an all-bar one man, Alfie.
I'd been to the theatre, Mount View Theatre, to watch my girlfriend at the time in some show, and we'd gone just where everyone went afterwards, and Bryn had been doing the lights. And I just got chatting to him, and I used to carry around this little metal cigarette box holder.
Sick.
With a self-made flyer saying, wanted insanely dedicated musicians for raucous, melodious, indie pop rock project.
Wow, what a sentence.
Yeah, I can still remember the wording of it. And that insanely dedicated being the thing. And I gave him one. And he's like, I play guitar a little bit, but I'd love to be in a band. And I says, well, so long as you want to do it, we'll do it.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah, and I'll teach you how to play the bass. If you can do guitar a bit, then, with dedication. And him and Dave, then our drummer, you would like just do sessions on their own to get really tight and locked in, and ended up being a very solid bass player.
And where was that? You had a little hub, didn't you?
Nambucca, Holloway Road was
Shout out to Nambucca.
N7.
So what can you tell us about Nambucca?
Oh, mate, it's how long you got?
Well, how would you describe Nambucca to the uninitiated? 2006 at Nambucca.
Well, my first experience of Nambucca was Sensible Sundays, which was Dave, our drummer, and Jay, our manager. They put on this all-day thing there, which was like an open mic. They did various kind of games and whatnot. There would be board games, and then I'd have various games amongst the crowd and stuff. Can't remember every detail, and there'd be food on and stuff. So I went there one day and thought, this is good, and then started going there regularly. And me and Bryn were by this point looking for a guitar player, and after a few weeks, Rob Skipper was on stage, and we thought, who's this young Bob Dylan guy who all the girls love, and they couldn't get him off stage, just kept playing.
Yeah. The dedication thing you mentioned.
Yeah. And we were like, he's our guy. So we just nabbed him after we'd finished. And then...
So you got the job. I wasn't looking for a job. You got the job.
Yeah. He wasn't looking... No, but I think he was. You know, he'd come to London wanting to progress his musical dreams. And yeah, we hit it off straight away. And then the following Sunday, me and Rob asked Dave if we could have a quick jam in his bedroom upstairs because we wanted to do some songs together. So then we did that, and then we went downstairs and played a bunch of songs together. And Dave was like, "That was amazing. How did you two do that? You only just met. I'm going to be the drummer." And that was it. Then the first time we all played there together, Jay saw us and was like, "I'm going to be the manager. It's amazing." And so it was just a place of coincidence, destiny, and magic, and absolute carnage. Because you know the place would frequently be inhabited by people drinking and who knows what until the birds were singing, because it was ran by our mates and all our gang, and our tour manager lived upstairs, Tom Frog, remember good old Frog nights, lived upstairs. So it was just a hub and the centre and the nucleus of not just the Holloways, but you know many bands like the Supernovas and Special Needs used to play there, and loads of people came through there. Dustin's Bar Mitzvah, you know, they're playing again. They used to play there all the time, and it was funny because it was, you know, it wasn't in Camden, it wasn't in Old Street. There wasn't really loads else.
It's a weird thing to become as popular as it was, because I only went there a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5 times, because it's just such a pain in the arse to get to.
Yeah.
You've got to want to be there, haven't you?
Yeah. I mean, luckily for us, there was enough people who lived in the area who made it busy enough, even if there weren't loads of people coming by. But because there was enough of a scene around London that time for the kind of music we were doing and all the other bands that were playing, there was enough hunger for people to come there. But yeah, like you say, given that it was quite isolated, it is still surprising to this day that it was as often as busy as it was.
So it's not a modern story, this, is it? I mean, it is just unimaginable now that like 4 guys just come to London, meet in a pub, because for starters, who the fuck can afford to go to the pub anymore, Alfie?
Oh, mate.
And make this magic happen and have a hub, have a base. It's just, it doesn't exist anymore, does it? It
breaks my heart. I mean, you know, I used to live in my teenage years in Melton Mowbray, and our place then was the Princess Charlotte in Leicester, and that's gone. And that's just one of many that's, you know, been swallowed up by basically property developers, you know, dollar signs, and, you know, there's so many things protected in this country by the government for reasons of artistic and historical importance. And, you know, Great Britain in the last century, one of its greatest exports has been the best music in the world, and we've not done anything to protect it, and it's scandalous, really. And yeah, like you say, combine that with so many changes in culture, you know, streaming of films, what COVID did, the price of going out. There's been so many things that have just kind of crushed the live music scene, especially for bands, and the fact that bands has fallen out of fashion as well, and labels have stopped being interested in bands because
cost too much money.
You know, a single artist is an economic no-brainer compared to investing in a band. So yeah, there's so many factors that have crushed such a cultural melting pot that was there, and it's very sad. You know, there's still some great stuff happening, but nowhere near in the quantities that we had.
Yes, the quantity, wasn't it? It was a huge number of bands. And I think, like, when I think of the Holloways, I don't just think of like a band or an album or songs. I think of like nightlife and culture, because you guys basically had a large monopoly of like indie nights. Like, I would go, you basically, if you want to find a Holloway, you don't have to search too far, basically. Any day of the week, you'd catch them in Nambucca. Friday night, you'd catch them at Coco, at Club NME. Saturday, you'd catch them at Frog.
Yeah.
If you were wanted men, you'd be in serious fucking trouble.
You'd be real, like you would Tuesday night, you'd find us at Trash at the Roxy.
I never went to Trash, man.
Oh, mate.
I never went to Trash. It's my one indie sort of gap in my CV.
I used to love it. They used to do jugs of cocktails for like, I don't know, you pay like £6 for a jug of Long Island iced tea. And you just get a jug and then you just grab the nearest people to you. And you're like, grab a straw, and you'd all just dive in with the straw, and like just random girls or even guys, whatever, we didn't care, just like, and just down these cocktails, and it was great. And you know, we'd there was the little sort of bit around the side in the main dance floor, and I just remember I just used to love dances so much.
Yeah,
and then there was Candy Box on a Wednesday. What was Thursdays? Can't remember what Thursdays was.
A day of rest.
I don't think there was such a thing. Like I say, well, there was even Sensible Sundays, wasn't there? I think Monday was the only, because Trash was
wasn't
Monday.
Trash on Mondays, wasn't it? Yeah, at the end.
No, sorry, Trash was Tuesday. What was Monday? There was
I'm
another
sure
one.
Trash was a Monday at the end.
Panic Tuesday. Trash was Monday.
Yeah.
Panic at the Roxy on Tuesdays. Trash was the one I didn't used to go to. That was Monday was my...
was your day of rest.
That was me, I'm done day.
Sure. That was your creativity day. Yeah. Everyone needs one. Everyone needs one. I want to ask you a big question, Alfie. What was a better night out, Club Enemy or Frog?
Depends. They were both brilliant. They were both chaotic and hilarious, and so many funny stories. Many far too sordid.
You can share. This is a real good opportunity to share, Alfie.
One of the funniest things I ever saw was we were in DJ booth in the Club Enemy room upstairs in Coco, and I think Tom Frog was DJing, and we were in there, and there was a black desk where the decks were on, and there were some scratches on the desk, and this girl kept coming in and thinking it was Coke.
Amazing.
And she just like came in and sniffed the scratches.
Like plastic filings or something like.
It was just scratches in the wood. And she's like, she did it, and they were still there, and she came back later, half an hour, and did the same thing again. Wow. And me and Tom were just like dying.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good answer.
Mate,
I'll take that. It's
just, yeah, I mean, it's not something to admire about, about the scene that we were in. You know, it was quite debauched in a lot of ways, but I think, 99% of it was good, harmless fun.
Well, shout out to Harmless Fun. I should probably take this opportunity to say thank you, because you put me on the guest list and the cheap list an awful lot for Frog, and you showed me a lot of good nights out, Alfie. It's a
pleasure, mate.
So I want you to know that I appreciate that, all right?
Well, we appreciate all the support you gave us.
It was a lot.
You did, yeah.
But honestly, it's not exaggeration. I saw you guys just week after week. I'll just go wherever you guys were playing. It's like I could stay home and do nothing, but as long as I can get the train fare there, don't really worry too much about the beer. It'd be nice, but like I'll survive without. If I can get in, the rest will take care of itself. And that's what we fucking did, That is what happened, and it was bloody good.
Yeah, and it was somehow easy. I mean, I don't know if it was a lot easier for us because we knew all the people who were doing a lot of the nights. So we always managed to get our hands on cheap/free booze.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know what the experience was on the periphery of the...
Well, I mean, I'll put it quite bluntly. There was very cheap ecstasy back then. So that really helped things out in quite a big way. I wouldn't do it now, of course not. I'm a grown-up man. But that definitely kept things afloat for quite a while. Nothing quite like listening to Larrick and Love while high on ecstasy, let me tell you. That's quite a feeling.
I did sound for them at... when it was Frog, there was the bar on the left-hand side, and there used to be a band on there earlier.
Yeah.
And I did sound for them.
Do you know what? I always found that room so intimidating. I'm going to say it now. You mentioned Tom Frog. I always found him a bit scary. He was so cool. I was intimidated by Tom. And I'd walk in there, and I'd see like Tom and probably a few of your sort of mates and stuff. I'd walk in and go, "Oh, I'm not cool enough for this room. I'll go in the other room. I'll go downstairs."
Yeah, I mean, Tom's a bit of a movie star, isn't he? He's got that charisma. Still does. Saw him. We all met up last year when the Holloways got our... How many was it? Was it 40,000? We got a disc.
You got a disc?
Yeah.
Hey-o!
It's at my mum's. Need to get it over to Austria. Yeah, it's great that we got it. I mean, if things had gone better with the label back in the day, we would have been looking more like... for the singles we had, for the single success we had, it didn't translate to the album because we had problems with the label.
Who the fuck was buying albums?
Well, loads of labels said, we can't believe that. We spoke to later on after ours went bust. They were like, that should have been 100,000 on the singles, based on the single success. Yeah. But there wasn't the marketing campaign there, so... Yeah,
you had it in the palm of your hands, didn't you, really?
Yeah, it could have gone a lot better for us, but, we're grateful for what did go for us, so...
Sure. I mean, you've got a very interesting, unique story. I think maybe you mentioned it. Tell us a bit about the label you were on and sort of how all that came about and the madness around it all.
Yeah, it's TVT, which was the biggest indie label in the world, but they're based in New York. And
not a great start, is it?
No, it wasn't a great start. I mean, they had a London office, but, they didn't really have an extensive network or, the experience and connections perhaps that other bigger labels did in the UK. And yeah, it did put many barriers sort of in place. And the biggest problem was when we were halfway through recording the second album, we were down at Sawmills where Supergrass did I Should Coco, Oasis did Definitely Maybe, Muse. And it was, we're just like living the dream. And it was so exciting. And then halfway through the recording, TVT have gone bust, get the call from Jay. Publisher, the publishing side's gone because we were signed publishing and labels. So we didn't get through the advances that we were due for the second album. So all the money that was supposed to be there is gone. And yeah, we basically funded the rest of the paying for the album ourselves. And we just lost all the momentum by that point. And the way it happened was absolutely mental because they had Pitbull on their books. They had loads like Lil Wayne and...
Was it Busta Rhymes as well, or Snoop? There was one of them, wasn't
there? I mean, it's loads of crunk and hip-hop sort of stuff, and then a few indie bands. So that kind of didn't make that much sense.
So is it Towers of London as well?
Towers of London. And the Cinematics were the other UK band. Yeah, because Pitbull released some album with material with another label without TVT's permission. They sued them, and then there was an appeal, and they'd already spent the money, but they had to give it back. So they were bankrupt, and we just became frozen as an asset. All through 2007.
Being called an asset, that fucking...
Yeah.
Well, I felt that.
Yeah, it felt great, mate, yeah.
I felt that.
And yeah, we couldn't release anything. And we had stuff ready, and other labels were interested in it, but they weren't prepared to get involved with the financial mess that TVT was at that point. And yeah, when we finally did get taken over, it was by not really a label. It's now a very successful company called The Orchard, but at that point they were finding their feet, and it was a period of very much things changing in the industry. But things didn't work out for us as well as they could have done.
But you made some bloody great memories.
We did indeed.
You made a lot of people happy for a couple of years.
Yeah,
and that cannot be underestimated.
No, it can't. And I seeing your face now, and it doesn't, like you said, it doesn't seem like yesterday since it was bouncing up and down in front of me in the stage along with Jonathan Woodgate.
Well, that's quite a good segue, actually, Alfie. Why don't you explain to the listeners what we've got on the screen behind us here?
Here he is, look.
So talk us through this, please, Alfie.
Well, it was just hilarious. We knew we were going to be in NME, and then the photo when we opened it was Jonathan Woodgate. Is he your cousin?
He's my little brother.
Your little brother.
Jack Han.
I can never remember who's who in your gang.
There's quite a few of us.
Right, it's your little brother, right?
Me and Jack are brothers. He was the better looking one for a really long time, Alfie. And
but not anymore.
A little bit. He's turning back round the other way now. He's in good shape, Jack. Actually, so I'm sweating a bit. I'm nervous. But back then, he may have been the most handsome man in skinny jeans in London. I mean, look at that glorious hair.
He was a beautiful lad, mate.
So for the listeners, let's describe what's going on here. This is the Holloways one-page spread on NME, all singing, all dancing review.
Oh, that gig was chaos.
It was chaos. But the picture they've chosen, there's about 5 different pictures here, but the big one that's taken up most of the space is not of the band.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they thought it was me because of the red jeans, and we know Alfie wears red jeans, or they just loved the chaotic nature, showing how mental the fans were. And it was one of the maddest gigs I can remember. It was...
It wasn't without incident. I mean, why don't you explain what's happening in that top right part of the image there, Alfie?
The fire extinguisher. Oh my God. It was chaos. Who supported now? Was it Captain Black? Or was it Gill Kicker? Was it Kid Harpoon?
I'd be lying if I said I can remember who supported you. Yeah.
But then there was just we had so many of our gang backstage, and the support band were also lads who we really loved a good time as well. And I think, the more people there are, and it was our biggest London show at that moment. So it's a real pinnacle on the way up. The momentum was crazy. And I think everyone was just getting very excited and very drunk. And it was like, what can we do that's absolutely mental? And it was Danny Varley, as far as I remember, was the one who decided to run out on the shoulders of maybe Tom Frog while spraying a fire extinguisher onto the crowd because there was some heat in that crowd.
It was a hottie.
They needed cooling off.
It was a hottie. Do you remember the other time that Jack Han was on stage at a Holloways show?
You remember these things better than me. I'm filling in some blanks
here. I'm dotting some I's and crossing some T's for you here, Alfie. It's actually still on YouTube. I've not watched it back in preparation, but maybe I should have done. At one of your many, many shows at Coco, I think it was a headline show, not Club NME one, Jack somehow was crowd surfed onto the stage. And it was during fuck-ups. And there's that big sort of like breakdown bit towards the end. And you've gone, please take it away sort of thing. And Jack's gone, well, a 33-year-old grandma. And sort of sang that bit.
That does ring a bell now.
Yeah. We can find this footage. We'll have to clip it up, I think. But
Definitely.
But yeah, and he's done his bit. And you've gone, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonathan Woodgate! And I'd imagine a large chunk of the people in the crowd got the reference. Because like we said, because basically in this photo of Jack, the caption that Enemy said, they said, Jonathan Woodgate on a day off from training. Football's not all R&B and awful tracksuits, you know. Basically insinuating that Jack Han looks like Jonathan Woodgate.
He really did.
But I don't think that's a reference anyone had ever said before. But man, what a night. What a show. What an Enemy article.
What a memory.
That's actually up on Jack's wall.
Of course it is.
Yeah. He's got an indie wall.
Good lad.
Yeah. That's pride and place, that is, Alfie.
I mean, he should be using that all the time. He should have a T-shirt of it and just walk around going,
it's not too late. Well, look, this has been fun, but we've got to talk about an album.
We do indeed.
Now, normally I ask the guest to introduce an album, and normally I ask the guest which album they want to discuss. I made it pretty clear. I just said, Alfie, fuck that. We're talking about your album, mate. So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So, This Is Great Britain is the debut album from North London indie band The Holloways. Released in 2007 on TVT, the album features some of the most jubilant singles of the era, but also saw the band reach for more melancholic and heartbreaking moments, proving the strength of the songwriting skills of the 4 members of the band. But it's not just songs about good times and fun. The album fires shots at celebrity culture and anarchy-causing politicians, all while taking sonic influence from places as varied as the Pogues, the Specials, and inevitably for a mid-noughties guitar band, a little bit of Libertines is in there as well.
It all goes in.
It all goes in. The album was an instant success with both critics and the public and saw the band pick up A-list rotation on Radio 1 and huge festival slots, including opening the other stage at Glastonbury. Was it 2007?
2007.
I got it right, okay. Sadly, the next few years featured more turmoil and stress for the band than most people receive in a lifetime. And the Holloways called it a day in 2011 with a final show just off the Holloway Road in one of the most beloved music venues in North London, the Garage.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we should start there, Alfie, actually. What a show that was, by the way.
The last one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That was a spicy number.
Yeah, it was great. Especially, Rob rejoined us
He did.
For the last sort of 5 or 6 songs.
Because I bumped into him in the crowd sort of midway through the show. And I sort of said, how could I not be here kind of thing? And he said the same thing to me. He's looked at me and gone, Bill, how could I not be here? I was like, fucking go on, Rob. Get up there, brother. And because they was probably say by this point, the lineup had changed, hadn't it? A different band lineup at this point. And Rob was in the band.
We would had... I think 2 or 3 different lineups since Dave and Rob left, and and they were all good fun, but the chemistry of that original 4.
Sure, you can't recapture that. You don't get 2 of them, do you?
You really don't. I mean, it's a really interesting thing. I remember we were doing soundcheck before Special Needs. They were playing, we were playing it at Nambuka, and me and Rob went back to after soundcheck. Sorry, Zach said to us, you need a frontman in your band. You're both there on guitar, blah, blah, blah. But he'd only seen the sound check. And then we went back to my flat, just me and Rob, and we had some beers and some food and a little jam through the songs. And we went back. And I think that what he'd said had we were already pretty active, nutters on the stage. But I think that gave us an extra
Kick
little...
up the arse.
And then after the gig, he was like, holy shit, you got 2 frontmen in the band. And it's so that it was... I think it was a really healthy competition between me and Rob. It's not like we were trying to outdo each other, but there was this it was an encouraging but also a really healthy sort of competition.
Yeah.
In all ways. I think we pushed each other musically, physically on stage and creatively. So it was a really healthy thing. And the other thing, going back to the chemistry of the original 4, was Dave on drums. And a lot of older fans would come up and say, your drummer makes your band. And I was just been a cocky twat. I was like, oh, really? And I was always thinking, me and Rob made the band, we're the front. It's been a dick in my head. I never said it. But then years later, I was doing a gig with Dave for it was just a random party, New Year's Eve party. We were just doing 80s cheesy classics. And 30 seconds into rehearsing with him, I can't remember what song we were playing, and he was just strumming, and I was just like, oh my God, this feeling came flooding back into my body. I was like, that's what they meant. That's what they were on about. He's just had this groove. He never did like anything fancy, Dave. He just like, but had this, he just sat in the pocket right. I don't know what it is.
He's not a flashy drummer, is he? But he serves the song.
And that's it. And that's the most important thing. That's the most important thing anyone can do in a song is, and you know, I do production now, and being able to do what's best for the song is not always what you think is best for the song. You know, less is more. And Dave was a king of that. And his feel, you know, we did the gigs last year with the Enemy and the Subways, and Dave's not played in God knows how many years, and he got behind the kit, and we were all shitting it. Like, are we going to be able to do this? We've not played together for ages. We're playing the Academy in a few days. And we did So This Is Great Britain in rehearsal, and we did it. And Dave was the same as ever, and we all pulled it off. And like, you could just see this relief. No one had spoke about it, but everyone was like, it's going to be all right. And yeah, that was the thing. Dave was so tight, and like I said, him and Bryn really worked on it together, and sat in that allowed me and Rob to just bounce around like idiots and style out our guitar mishaps and make them sound cool.
But it's funny you say that, because I do have a big memory of, what was the record shop in Covent Garden called? You'd done an in-store there one day. I can't remember what it was called now. But there was a basement downstairs, and you guys played downstairs in the basement there. It's a gorgeous summer's day. It must have been for the single, not for the album. And I remember midway, you guys had nearly finished the set. I was a bit late. And you come down, all your faces sort of lit up when you see me coming down the stairs. And Dave saw me, and he fucked up the song. And normally, a drummer fucks up the song, things collapse, and everyone goes, fuck, and starts pointing at each other. And you all just laugh together at, like, laughing at me, then Dave's fuck up. And it was like, you mentioned the chemistry there. It's like, I almost felt responsible for like derailing a Holloways show.
Brilliant.
But none of you were upset. It was all just laughed at it, put it down, cracked on. It was, it was class.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that kind of sums up the spirit we had.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, man. Good times.
Good times, man. Let's talk about the album.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So, as mentioned, I discovered you guys late 05, early 06. Pretty quickly got my hands on all the demos you guys have made, all up there on MySpace for the taking. Some of the strongest demos of that era, Alfie, they were fucking gorgeous, weren't they?
There were some good demos. I mean, there were some demos, I think, you know, no disrespect to the final versions of the album. You know, the album turned out great, but you know, I think sometimes the rough and ready element happens with a lot of bands, gets lost in translation from stage to finally getting the album there. I think that happened a little bit. You know, sometimes the stuff we did with Tristan Iverme, I felt like he was more part of what we was part of the band, basically. Tristan, you know, he plays guitar in the new lineup that we're doing.
Sorry, he was the producer. Sorry.
Yeah, on all the early demos. Well,
right.
Not all the early demos. I remember Jenny's dad did 3 songs. He did the faster version of Lonely Face, Happiness and Penniless, and what was the other one we did? Was it London Town, maybe? But Tristan did most of the first version of Generator, the vinyl version of Generator, and 2 Left Feet, Happiness and Penniless. They were all Tristan. And yeah, I think he got what we were about a bit more than, you know, no disrespect to legendary names of Clive Langer and Alan Winstanley, who've done, you know, some of the greatest albums, you know, through the 80s with Madness and Dexys and all that stuff. But I think that sometimes it's a little clean, the album, and I wish it had a little bit more balls.
Well, you say that. I mean, I was quite surprised listening back to it yesterday. The guitars are a lot more distorted than I remembered.
Okay.
Because like I mentioned the Libertines reference in there. You guys got compared to Libertines quite a bit by the press back then. I didn't really agree with it. I was like, that's a bit lazy. Listening back to it, I heard a lot more Libertines in this than I remembered.
Okay.
I think the lead guitar parts, there's a lot of distortion in them, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the sort of the Strokes and the Libertines were the 2 things that made me go, I really got to get a band together.
Yeah, welcome to the club, brother.
You know, I mean, Oasis was the thing that got me started, and my first bands were as a result of the whole Britpop thing. But then I moved to London to work at ITV, but then I did still want to form a band, and then I got the Strokes, and then heard Libertines as well. I was like,
It's a tale as old as time, isn't it?
Yeah, mate, it is. And
but it's a good one.
So it's a big influence on like nearly every guitar band
Exactly.
in that time.
Exactly. Unavoidable. White guys at guitars.
Yeah, and there were 2 of us Same as the Libertines. So that made it really easy to compare us as well.
That's why I found it a bit lazy, I think. Yeah. Who would you consider your contemporaries in this era? Because there was a big scene. There was bands at every corner, and most of them were playing underneath your bedrooms at Nambuka.
I mean, the artists I really admired. I mean, Kid Harpoon used to blow me away.
What's he up to nowadays?
I need to give him a ring, see if he can get me in some sessions. Yeah, absolutely killing it. Done well for himself. But yeah, his talent was always there, clear as day for me. He was one of the few people who was supporting us I'd want to go out and watch, because I didn't like watching the support bands when we were doing gigs. I don't know why. It was like watching someone sleep in my bed before I'm about to make the love in there. You know what I mean? It just felt wrong somehow. It's like that's my thing that I'm about to go and perform on. And it just sort of took away getting in the headspace and going out and seeing the crowd for the first time.
That surprises me to hear that. Wow.
I like to sort of stay backstage, warm my fingers up, warm my voice up, and just get myself in the right sort of frame of mind. And yeah, I just felt like going out sort of preempted the whole vibe a bit. And I think a part of the thing in my head as well, and you know, it's just stupid ego stuff when you're younger maybe, but part of me was like, I don't want anyone seeing us before we walk out on stage, because I know what I felt like when bands finally walked out, and it was that moment like, they're here, they're real. Yeah. So I kind of didn't.
No, there's something in that. I get that.
Yeah, so there's a number of reasons that I didn't, but Kid Harpoon would get me sticking my head round round the side. Wow. Really talented. Who else did I? Obviously came before us, but yeah, I did love the Libertines, and I loved Franz Ferdinand. And
were they reference points when you were in the studio?
It was never we want to do what they're doing. You know, we loved all this music, and the fact that they were doing something and their gigs were exciting made us want to do that as well. But you know, some of my favorite album, apart from this, is probably Siamese Dream by Smashing Pumpkins, which is
worlds away from this, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, really is. But that was a huge influence on. I mean, you don't hear it in the Holloways stuff, but when I'm writing songs for other people and stuff, the amount of Billy Corgan that comes into my playing is really noticeable. But in terms of what sort of shaped what we were doing in the studio, I really feel like it was just wanting to be us the best we could be.
I like that, the best version of you. Yeah. Speaking of the best version of you, what's the best bit of the album, Alfie? Not the best song, the best bit.
Best bit of the album.
Best bit of the album.
I mean, you could say. I mean, I love the opening. The intro to So This Is Great Britain with the dogs and the church bells.
It's a bit chaotic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ramshackle. You have to lean in a bit and go, what the fuck's going on over here?
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's a great bit.
Where was the dog barking from? Was that...
Where did we get the dog
field
barking?
Recordings or...
Maybe Tristan can remember. Who put that in? Can't remember where we got the dogs now. No. It's a while ago.
It is a while ago.
But I'd say that's the best bit.
That's the best bit?
I like the intro, yeah.
I'm going to ask you a horrible question. What's the worst bit of the album, Alfie? Oh my God, what a horrible question. Is there a middle eight that doesn't work? Is there an outro that's too long? There's a few things okay, well done.
that happened. I don't know if you noticed this at gigs. The version of Fuck Ups that we do live.
Yes, well, the demo version that I've fallen in love with was
there you go.
Very different chords in the chorus.
Yeah.
So talk to me about this. This is the question I've wanted to know the answer to for about 18 years now.
Oh, here we go. This is what this podcast has been leading to.
It's all worth it for this. Tell me everything.
Well, Clive Langham and Alan Winstanley were musically very articulate and very intelligent guys who had done some marvellous moves with bands over the years. And I think they did one great thing with us with Fit for a Fortnight, which starts off in E. And then Fit for a Fortnight, it does this jump. It goes and it's this transposition. You go from E down to C sharp, which is not a key change you hear that often, and it's what they did with Madness in I think it's In Our House. That completely transformed Fit for a Fortnight, yeah, it gives it such a lift because it was all in the same key before and it didn't lift. And it's amazing that it works so smoothly and you don't really notice it. You know, people used to do that. In 80s songwriting, there's key changing all the time. Like in Kylie Minogue, I should be so lucky it changes key like 3 times. And now, like, people are so scared of doing it. And I'm in sessions like pushing all the time, say, come on, take some risks. And you know, people are starting to take risks again now. And because we were so happy with that, we were like, they know what they're on about. And they suggested, they felt like fuck up staying on A. It didn't feel like any different from the chorus, from the verse.
Yeah.
And we were like, no, it does. It really takes off. It goes mental. People love it live. And they were like, no, it needs to go to a different key. And so because they, you know, of everything they'd done and because of how well they transformed Fit for a Fortnight, we went with them and we did the version in C. And the funny thing was, after we did it, we were like, oh no, we're not sure. And we actually went back to Metropolis with Tristan and did another version in A, back like the original demo.
Right.
But then they were like, but it's, you know, it's making the album inconsistent because the sound's not quite the same. And, you know, we've done it all together and it's just such a shame if one of the songs isn't, you know, staying in line with the rest of it. So we went, okay, we'll go with the version in C, but we never got to love it. We always felt the version in A just had the right feeling.
You're definitely right.
So we always did that live, but I often, you know, forgot really because we were so used to it. But then every now and then I'd catch myself thinking, hang on, because also the chorus in the original demo and the way we did it live doesn't come after the first verse. We do another round of the riff, then the second verse, and then we finally go to the chorus. But on the album, I think it goes to the chorus after the first verse,
that's right,
to the weird transposition that doesn't quite have the right feeling. But that's what happened. So that's a minor regret, shall we say.
Let's put it down to you for not quite having the confidence in the studio you would have now. You're letting some of the more experience have their input. Of course, as a young band, you're going to say, they know what they're doing. But it's that thing, isn't it? As you grow older, you know in your gut. Yeah,
I mean, I think we knew at the time, but I just think we felt like we had to respect people who'd done great things and trust them. And
do you know what? Good answer to that question, Alfie. I was happy with that. I was a bit nervous asking that one. What would be the perfect setting to listen to this album, Alfie? I'm going to need you to paint a picture for me here.
I'm just seeing house party.
You seen a house party?
Seeing a house party, I'm seeing...
Someone else's house or yours?
I did. Actually, I'm not going to lie. We threw loads of parties at our place. We didn't mind the place getting
What's
trashed.
the first video generator, is it not, at someone's house party?
In our back garden, yeah. Which is finally doing the rounds online. Because for years, the girl who made it held the footage hostage. She was like, I'm not giving this unless you give me loads of money.
What?
Like, moved the goalposts after, everyone was doing stuff at that stage. We didn't have any money at that stage. So everyone was just helping out. But then I think she'd maybe seen potential in what was about to happen, but it hadn't happened at that point.
We're still skint, darling, don't worry.
Yeah. So for a long time, we didn't have any footage. And then I think eventually I've somehow, on a random computer or disc, found the footage, but with her logo on it.
Right, yeah.
And I think that's the one we've put out. And I don't know if Bryn tried to remove it slightly or something, but... yeah, it's finally out there, and it's got loads of views on TikTok. I think not that I go on TikTok much, but Bryn's looking after the TikTok.
Cheers, Bryn. Appreciate you. Can we discuss the artwork, Alfie?
But yeah, that's the ideal scenario.
Oh, sorry, the house party.
House party, various open receptacles of beer lying about all over the shop.
Yeah, what time of day are we talking?
Spilt on the floor. Time of day, mate. I think it's like 9 or 10 o'clock.
It's getting on, but it's not too late.
No, before heading out, I think.
Before the chaos.
Yeah, house party before going out, yeah.
Class. Can we discuss the artwork, please?
Yes, very interesting story.
Talk to me.
I was randomly down at Tottenham Court Road corner where Virgin Megastore used to be.
R.I.P.
Yeah, mate. And, they used to have bands on in the downstairs bit. And I just popped in, and... the reason I'd gone down there was to just look at the albums and go and get some inspiration for the artwork.
Sure.
And the one that really caught my eye was one by the Divine Comedy, which has a similar, like old-fashioned looking photo with a green filter across it. And I was like, oh, I really like that one colour filter over an old photo. That's a really interesting idea. And then I heard a band playing downstairs, and I didn't know there was a band on. So I was like, I'll have a look, see who's playing. And I go down there, and who is it? The Divine Comedy.
No way.
Absolutely way. Then they played their song Alfie, and he looked at me and went, this one's called Alfie. And I was just like,
wow.
What the fuck is going on?
That's wild.
Mate, so I came back, I was like, boys, I know what we're doing for the album artwork.
Don't worry, I've sussed it.
Talk about signs.
Wow, yeah. When the cosmos is giving you those kind of signs, you listen, right?
The one that caught my eye, then I heard the band. This all happened in like 2 minutes. And then I went in, and they just finished one song, and then he looked at me and said, the next one's called Alfie.
That's mental.
Mental.
So who's the kid?
That is Rob's girlfriend at the time. Well, he did marry George's little brother. And I said to Bryn recently, we need to get hold of him and
definitely
do a new one. And
oh, that would make for cool artwork for the tour or something.
Well, it's a 20 year anniversary.
Sure.
And we want to put it out on vinyl. But Bryn can't actually find a high-res copy of the artwork anywhere to do.
That's the best I could do for you today. What do you reckon?
Mate. it still exudes what we wanted to put into it. I don't care about the resolution. It's beautiful, mate.
You nailed it.
Played a blinder.
Nailed it. And is that your hat? Or is that an imitation?
That was my hat. I've still got it somewhere.
You still got it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. I remember once getting a cool new straw hat and wearing it to one of your shows at the garage. And it was, it was actually Jack's hat. And, do you want to borrow your hat for the Holloways gig? Make sure it comes back. Do not fucking lose that hat. And this is like the middle of summer. That may have been one of the hottest shows I've ever been to.
Oh my
Remember
God.
this one?
Yes.
It's like 06, whatever.
That was before they refurbed it. It's the last gig before they refurbed it or something.
Couldn't tell you.
And the bouncer was punching holes in the wall. I don't think it must have been the Incredible Hulk. But apparently it was punching holes to let some air in.
What?
There must have been a bit where it's like boarded up or something. But that was with the pigeon detectives.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. I knew there was someone decent supporting. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and it was we had a lot of sweaty gigs, but
that was peak. So basically, I had this straw hat, and because it was so hot, it was literally just falling apart in my hands. I'm not exaggerating. And I've sort of gone over to Jack, and I've gone, bit of bad news on the hat. And I told him, like, it was so hot in there.
Melted.
It was just melted. He's like, you fucking dickhead. What are you talking nonsense? Hats don't melt. I sort of got his point. But
we went down and did Steve Mac after that, straight after the show.
Big night.
Yeah.
Big night.
Oh, but that was so sweaty, mate, yeah.
That was a hot. Let's discuss some songs, please, Alfie.
Yep.
Should we start at the beginning?
Yeah.
Go on, hit me with it.
So this is Great Britain.
What can you tell me about this song?
Particularly angry going into work one morning when I was working at ITV, and I'm a big Leeds United fan. And
Leeds.
in my youth, hated Man U. You know,
Really human.
you know, that irrational sort of hatred of your rival teams.
I know of it. I'm not really a football guy, but I do get what you're on about. Please.
So at that time, I mean, over time, I've grown to love Bex. You know, he's a national hero.
Quite fittingly today, got his knighthood.
Oh, did he?
He did. I always thought he already had it. But yeah, he became a Sir Dave Beckham today. And get this, a mate texted me earlier, and he goes, I was watching Sky Sports News for 2 minutes. I thought David Beckham was dead. The way they were talking about him, his heart had stopped. Going, fuck it out.
Yeah, I'd have thought he already was.
Either way, all that queuing for the Queen paid off. He's now a Sir. But sorry, you were saying, please.
But at that time, in my angrier, you know, more shooting for the hip, youthful days, you know, he was just like in the papers all the time and like doing advertising and stuff, and it was a bit of a new thing, really. Footballers weren't really doing that, and it all felt a bit like selly outy. And him and Victoria were just in the papers all the time, and I wasn't really liking the Spice Girls. I was a lad who's into bands, so it was all in my face stuff that I didn't really respect and think was the cool thing to be doing. And like I say, I was just having a bad time, and I was getting stressed doing the job. and London was stressing me out, and I just like reading the papers on the tube on the way in, and I just wrote a poem. So this is Great Britain, welcome aboard, and thinking shit was full of shit, and someone wasn't at the oars, and I just wrote the whole thing like on the tube, and I think I finished it when I got into work instead of working, just finished typing it up, and then then printed it out, and then that was like sort of sat around for probably a year or so before we actually started the Holloways. And then I thought it's an interesting piece for a song, really. I remember I just had these chords, just descending chord sequence. This great being welcome aboard, sings shit, it's full of shit, someone's in the oars, playing the Costco, and then Rob came in with his, guitar wizardry, and I was like, yeah, it's a really cool idea. He says, but what if we do this guitar bit underneath it? And he's like, only Rob could come up with that kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, that's loads better. And then I just sang it over, and it worked great. And I said, no, it'd be really funny to sing, an ironic version of Land of Hope and Glory as the chorus. I don't remember if that was in the original poem or not, or if it was just the verses. I can't remember. But yeah, Rob decided to go to the E chords. So Rob sort of did all of the chords, or most of the chords of that song. And then when he came, I don't know how he came up with that pirate bit, no idea. I think we were probably just jamming it, and Rob just somehow ended up playing a pirate
pointed
riff.
And said, yes, that's it. That's the bit.
Yeah, I remember we writing that one. In the same living room that me and Rob went back to. It was on Anson Road near Tufnell Park, just off Holloway Road. And Bryn, coincidentally, moved into the same road as me a few weeks after meeting him. So another one of the mad little coincidences that brought the Holloways together. So me and him would get together regularly quite easily. But yeah, that's how that one came about. And live, brilliant, just such a great set opener.
I think it sums up the Holloways pretty well, that song, doesn't it? It's chaos, it's fun, there's familiarity, there's cultural references, you got the big over-the-top guitar part from Rob. I think there's a lot of what encapsulates the Holloways in that 3 or 4 minutes, isn't there? Yeah,
and I remember what the Enemy, our good supporter Mark Beaumont said, it's like, so Britain's a bit shit, but let's party anyway, or something.
We'll have that.
Which was very much the spirit that we had.
He was a big champion of you guys, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's, me and him have become good mates over there. I'm supposed to be meeting him tonight. But at that time, he wasn't a mate of ours. It wasn't like...
Yeah.
He was like just helping his mates out. He
sort of a godlike figure at the Enemy, fucking hell.
Yeah. He was he just really liked the band, and then over the years, through interviews and stuff, we became mates.
Yeah. So that's track 1. It'd be ridiculous of us not to mention track 2, wouldn't it, Alfie?
Yeah, it's a funny one, that, because I didn't Rob playing it. Just this little kind of slow, like, I can get a record player and a generator music that makes you feel better. It's just like this chilled, like low thing, semi-reggae. And I thought it was a Ramones cover. It was just like jamming.
The best feeling in the world when you think someone's doing a cover and they say, I wrote that. Yeah. That's yours. Oh my God, we're going to be millionaires.
It was mad. I remember it was, again, Tom Frog's making an appearance. It was like...
Hi, Tom.
It's like, when are you going to start playing that song of Rob's? I was like, which one? I was like, well, we've been jamming Rob's songs. It's like that generator thing. It's like I was like, that's a Ramones song, isn't it? It's like, no, it's Rob's. It's like, nah, sure it's Ramones. It was me, Rob, Dave, and another little lad from Bath. Tom was from Bath. Benjo. I don't know if you remember Benjo, the hairdresser.
I don't know if I saw him, but
lovely lad. And we were all sat in Dave's bedroom on his bed. Just one of those mad upstairs Nambuka parties. And it's like, Rob, that generator thing. So I was like, yeah, it's mine. And I was like, so we started jamming around with it. And then I started putting some meat on the bones and coming up with some of the verse lyrics, taping songs off the radio and stuff like that, which is what I did. And I complain about streaming now. I'm such a hypocrite. And yeah, we just started writing like more lyrics to it and more parts to it. And then I was like, then we were just like, it should be a bit faster. And like, I said, if I sing up here, this high melody, because the way he sort of had it just sort of chilled out down there, it really came to life once we sped it up and I had the higher harmony on it, because then it just felt more like an uplifting pop song rather than this chilled thing. I mean, it was a piece of genius from Rob to begin with, the riff and just that hook. I can get a record player and a generator music that makes you feel better. The riff and that just were moments of inspiration. Yeah, it was mad. I remember we were jamming it and stuff, and like everyone would seem to be getting involved. I remember Alex, the drummer from Vincent and the Villains, saying like, "Dave, you should do this like sort of conga beat or something." That was my attempt at Alex's Scottish accent.
Very good. Very good.
And so yeah, there was loads of sort of things like that. Pushed it and pulled it around over a period of months probably before.
Had a few lives before it got to where it was by the sound of it then. And
it's really interesting because I write songs with other people these days, and people are always wanting to finish a song in a day. And
yeah, I think that's over-romanticised a bit, I think almost taking a step back from a song for a couple of days, a week or two, coming back to it.
It can take a long time, and you should let a song breathe. It's an olive tree takes however many years to reach its...
Put that in a song. There you go. We don't have to run it through track by track, but can we talk dance floor?
Dance floor, mate. Banger.
It was really nice listening to it yesterday. When you listen to an album, you know what song's coming next, don't you? I'd forgotten that was next.
Okay.
And it doesn't come in too hot, that song, does it? It's quite... The intro is quite delicate almost. And I've got this rush of adrenaline going, it's going to go to somewhere really exciting. It's not quite there yet, but it's going to build and it's going to get there. And we'll get to the chorus and it'll be fucking rocking and rolling by then. But it's quite a gentle start to the song.
Yeah. I mean, this was one of the things I was on about earlier where I feel like needed a little bit more balls.
I think it gets there by the time it gets to the chorus and stuff, though.
Yeah, it does. The funny thing is when it's your own album, you don't really go and listen to it loads. You might, listen to it a couple of times after you finished it, do a listening party all together and get drunk and stuff. But, you don't go listening to your own album.
Yeah, what sort of monster would listen to their own podcasts? What sort of dickhead would do that?
So, I never had it on like cranked that many times.
Sure.
My parents put it on in the car. We were driving down to, I think we were driving down to Tenby or something years ago. I was like, and I hadn't heard the songs in years. And I was like, actually, this is really good. It's really good.
I think you're a bit hard on yourself. It sounds really good, that one, Alfie.
But yeah, it's that one. I remember I had that riff. I had that riff in my first band, like from when I was a teenager, called Marvel, who we still do stuff with now. And I just, it's like a police, every breath you take, sort of with a ninth on the little finger. And then I was like, for ages, what am I going to do with this? And it was another funny story. We were rehearsing it. Is it Church Studios? No, not Church Studios. The ones in Stoke Newington. One of the boys who... Heavy Stereo. One of the guys from Heavy Stereo, Jem Archer, who ended up being in Oasis. They owned it, and that's where we used to rehearse. Oh. And it was a Sunday morning rehearsal. We were boys who were at it all the time.
Optimistic, wasn't it? A Sunday morning rehearsal.
I'm saying Sunday morning. It was probably like 4 PM, but it felt like Sunday morning.
It was a 2006 morning, yeah.
Rob was late, so we were just like jamming about, and I was like, I've got this riff. So I started playing it, and I had this like Futurehead sort of influence in me. I just remember going, I must be pretty, like doing an impression of Futureheads. And then Rob turned up and sort of joined in. And then
stumbled in, you mean? Yeah,
stumbled in with a girl.
It's all making sense now,
Classic.
Rob.
And she was there, and she's like, this is amazing. And then I kind of went away, again, shaving down a multitude of ideas over a period of weeks or however long. I tried many lyrics with it, and then it eventually ended up in the shape it was. And very much true stories made their way into that. Is it the second verse? Dance for, so I bought a drink, she next to down, she lit a cigarette and blew the smoke in my eye. I really fancied Mick Jones' daughter, Lauren Jones, used to be part of the scene back then. And Lola Strummer, we played her house party once. That was hilarious. Dave lost all use of his leg. He could only play the snare. It was brilliant. But we played the 12 bar before that. Remember the 12 bar? Was tiny on Denmark Street. And then we went and did a house party. But yeah, back to Lauren Jones on the dance floor. And it was Frog. And I really fancied it because I thought she looked a bit like Winona Ryder. And I used to love Winona Ryder. And I think, I bought a drink, and then you could still smoke indoors in there. And I think she basically, and you sort of necked this Jack and Coke or whatever it was, and then I lit up a cigarette. And I think inadvertently blew cigarette smoke in my direction. And when it hits your eye and it stings like...
Catches,
So I wasn't crying. But
men can cry.
Men can cry. Okay. Boys don't cry, but men do.
God, yeah.
But yeah, so that was that. I'd like... end up losing people. You just get lost in a night.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
You, especially
We
if
were
you,
dancing to some big rooms sometimes.
Yeah, mate.
Coco's got cavernous little
Yeah.
areas, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and all the nooks and crannies, yeah. And, you know, you'd lose your mates and you'd lose your money. And back in those days, you couldn't use credit cards
you couldn't
on
go
the
on
bus.
WhatsApp, could you?
No. And if you didn't have the right change for the bus,
That's
you had
it.
to walk home.
That is it.
And I walked home many a time, 3 or 4 hours, sort of getting lost, finding these new streets. But I kind of loved it in a way. It was a very romantic time.
No, same. I remember we used to live, well, most would live like Uxbridge, Ruislip, Hillingdon way. And the night bus would go from Marble Arch to Hillingdon. And what we'd do, we'd go to Coco, we'd get a bus to Tottenham Court Road, walk the whole length of Oxford Street, and then get the night bus from Marble Arch to Hillingdon. That took us fucking hours. It's taken fucking hours. But we loved it. It was all part of the romance of it.
Yeah, it was all
what I mean?
part
As long
of
as
it.
it wasn't raining, fucking great.
Yeah.
And it never was. I don't think it rained once in 2006. I've had a look, honestly.
Sunny days, mate.
Honestly, I really do believe that. We've got to talk about another one. Two Left Feet, please, Alfie.
2 Left Feet. Wrote the chorus in the shower,
Wallop.
along with Fuck Ups. Wrote that chorus in the shower.
Get back in the shower, man. What are we doing
I
here?
know, mate. Reinvent myself on the bog. It's funny, isn't it?
Something about the acoustics in the bathroom, mate.
Yeah.
Those tiles.
Yeah, came up with the chorus in the shower. That's a funny idea. Can't really dance, but baby, won't you dance with me? And then I had all these like terrible lyrics, like, and if you want some romance, let's take a trip to France and drink a cup of English tea. Like, I liked the idea of going there and drinking English tea deliberately in front of the Parisians. Yes, again, just youth and the aggression and, you know, ready for a bit of banter. But those awful lyrics didn't make it into the song.
They weren't awful. They had some good bits there, Alfie, I think.
No, I meant that.
Like the cup of tea bit's quite good. I like that.
That's quite funny,
It was
isn't it?
pretty good.
I remember Dave saying, you know, just make it about a night out. Or, you know, going out. He's talking about dancing.
About what you know. Yeah.
Yeah, so again, that was in Dave's bedroom. It was in the bit that joined Jay and Dave. Jay and Dave had this like office bit with desks, and then their 2 bedrooms like jutted off it, and you know, we were just in that sort of communally bit. And it was another different party to the one where we were doing Generator, and I ended up going into the bathroom, and Frank Turner was in there, and he was showing a few songs, and I was showing him a few songs. Showed him 2 Left Feet, and I think he said, you know, try this and try that, and David said try this, and then again, it was often a case of like, here's an idea, and people saying these are maybe the directions, things, stuff to leave in, stuff to leave out, and then I'd go away and finesse it based on those initial feedbacks.
So you're open to criticism? Well, not even criticism. You're open to feedback from your
your
colleagues, I guess.
Yeah.
Your counterparts.
Some songs were, like I say, So This Is Great Britain, just like bossed that whole thing out in a poem, and then Rob put the guitar under it, and yeah. So that they were ones that were very much just like I kind of wrote introspectively. But then other things was I've got an idea, showed it, and then there'd be feedback, and then I'd go away and then sort of get in my bedroom and finish them off, or as I went on long walks or whatever. Walking's good for writing.
There's the secret, guys.
I don't know if you ever heard the original demo of Diamonds and Pearls.
Well, I was going to say this. Yeah, that's one of the few that I didn't ever hear the demos of. There's 2 or 3 songs in the album that weren't in demo form originally, wasn't there? I think Diamonds and Pearls. I remember that being like a new song and a reason to get excited by the album. Yeah,
Right, because we originally demoed that at Ray Davies' studio, Conk,
yeah.
up in Crouch End, and it was much more heavy, upbeat, like it was really like a big song, and we were like, this is going to be one of the big singles, this. And that was another one that during the production stages got turned into a kind of a prettier thing. And you know, it feels like I'm being disrespectful to the guys.
I think it's great.
They were great. Yeah, I mean, it is great, and I listen to it and I hear it now, and it has got a different charm to it. And it's a different colour for the album.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, it's a real brightness to it, and it's different to the rest of the album.
Yeah, it is
in a good way.
Yeah, I think it is in a good way when you look at the album as a whole. But that originally was very much like 2 Left Feet, Generator, bouncy.
Well, you've already got 2 of them. We don't need the third one, Alfie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It adds a different layer to the album. But no, good song. Right, so Alfie, I've arranged a little something for us. I've arranged a quiz.
Blimey.
Yeah. I warn you now, don't take it too seriously.
Okay.
Shall we?
Yes, do it.
Okay, this quiz is called Which Way to Holloway. This is a fucking ridiculous couple of questions. I hope you're ready for this.
Love it.
If I wanted to play a copy of So This Is Great Britain on a record player for 1 hour using a 100 kilo VA generator, I don't know what that is, how many litres of diesel would I need? And let's just say the generator's on a full load.
Blimey. How, on what? What's the device?
I'll try that again. If I wanted to play a copy of So This Is Great Britain on a record player for 1 hour using a 100 kVA generator, how many litres of diesel would I need? Brackets, let's just say the generator is at full load.
Complete shot in the dark. Can't need that many, can it?
Well,
let's say 4 litres.
I mean, why not? Fuck it. It's wrong. But apparently a 100 kVA generator could burn approximately 25 litres of diesel per hour at full load. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you didn't need all that to play a record. But anyway, question 2. If Morris the van is driving from Bridlington to Camber Sands, and for that 5.5 hour journey, you can only stop at 1 services, which services would you like to stop at, Alfie?
One with the Harry Ramsden's fish and chips.
Thank you very much. Question 3. What's the difference between you and me?
I'm trying to think of the lyrics now. What's the difference between you and me? You're not asking me to quote the lyric. You just asked me to point it out. The difference between you and me.
I'm asking you a question, Alfie. What's the difference between you and me?
You are a genuine born and bred Londoner, and I'm a imposter.
Question 4. What does Rob Skipper blame his malcontentedness on?
Been dropped on his head.
Thank you very much. That is the one sensible question, actually. Question 5. Why should I reinvent myself?
You shouldn't.
Thank you very much. Question 6. You sure? I could do a bit of a reinvent.
Mate, you're golden.
Here we go. Question 6. Where are my friends when I need them now?
I'm still asking myself that to this day. Yeah, where are they? Are they in the loos? They can't have gone home before me.
Could they?
I don't know where they are.
Where are my friends? Question 7. Where are my friends when I'm alone in the night time?
Probably at a house party.
Probably at a house party.
Yeah.
When you're alone in the fucking night time. How will I find love tonight in a loveless city?
I can't say the first thing that came in my head. Well, you won't until, maybe next weekend.
We try again.
Yeah, we go again.
We go again. Question 9. Now this one, yeah, okay. So I called the quiz Which Way on Holloway. These are actually the ones that, are on that theme now. Okay, so which way on Holloway? If I was on Holloway Road's much-loved Nambucca and wanted to visit the garage, what do you reckon?
For me, it's garage.
Garage, I would go which way on Holloway?
You'd go south and you'd have a very long walk.
The correct answer is south. How long is that walk going to take us, Alfie, do you reckon?
I reckon the walk is about 25 minutes.
Fucking ages. Question 10. We've only got 2 more left. You with me, Alfie?
Loving it.
If I was at B&Q on Holloway Road and wanted to visit the Holloway Mosque, I would go which way on Holloway?
B&Q and the Holloway Mosque. It's been a while,
But it is only a 50-50 question. Can you picture the B&Q on Holloway Road?
I think I can, and I'm
Can
pretty
you picture the
sure
Holloway Mosque?
For some reason, I think it's north.
You're incorrect. It's south. Eid Mubarak, mate. Question 11. If I was at Paddy Power on Holloway Road and wanted to visit JD Sports, I would have to go which way on Holloway?
Bloody hell. See, is this current?
It actually is, yeah. We're not going 2006. To be fair, there's probably more than one Paddy Power on Holloway Road if I was a betting man. So
from JD Sports to Paddy Power or Paddy Power to JD Sports?
Paddy Power to JD Sports.
South.
It's north. But that is not important. It's just a bit of fun. Alfie, this has been class, man. Thank you so much for doing this. You enjoyed yourself?
Very much so, yeah.
Class. Well, look, this is your opportunity to share with the world what you'd like them to know and plug and promote anything that maybe is coming up in your world. The floor is yours.
Yeah, well, obviously the Holloways are back out on the road.
Hey-o.
We did some great stuff last year with the Enemy and Subways, and we're going to be doing headline tour in October. We're doing the Good Times Festival in August in Wakefield. Some other great bands on the bill. Skinny Living are playing. They're a band I write with on a regular basis. And I'm arguing with Bryn that we should record some new material.
Bryn, if you're listening, pull your fucking finger out.
Got to do it, right?
Come on.
It's got to be done. So that's something. I've got a bunch of songs that are good to go. So yeah, hopefully doing that, and yeah, there's going to be more gigs coming in. There's talk of there being a Shambles, Paddingtons, Holloways 3-way.
Now you have my attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you know about this, Alfie?
Well, I've been talking I've had messages with Tom and with Grant, and they were like, yeah, this makes loads of sense. And I think the Pads are already doing some stuff with Shambles, and yeah, I'm sure it's just a matter of time. Also been talking to Matt from Pigeon Detectives, and I think we're going to do some stuff because they've got their anniversary coming up. Is it next year or the year after? And yeah, so I think there's going to be many
that makes
old...
sense, yeah, because it's 07, isn't it? So I think both released their albums in 07. Like the Holloways...
We were 2006 with the album.
Was you? I put 2007 on my notes. If I was wrong, forgive me, but that is not important.
Yeah, I think
what's important is that there is a very exciting 12 months ahead
man.
for Holloways fans by the sound of it.
There is indeed.
I'll be there, man.
I know you will.
Can't wait. Well, look, I've been William Han. He's been Alfie Jackson. The album has been the Holloways, and this has been this album. Way!
Did I waffle far too much? We didn't get much into the album, did we?
We got fucking plenty going on the album, jeez.